Predicted that I was hugely wrong with my game prediction. Tennessee Titans lost to the Baltimore Ravens 21-0 in what was an all too easy, no sweat win for the Baltimore Ravens, winning 21-0 versus the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. And it was my game prediction for this game was hugely wrong. I predicted that the Titans would win a entertaining, exciting, dramatic, great, close game, 24-17. Mariota would throw for 2 touchdowns. Henry would run for 1 touchdown and run for more than 101 yards. And the Titans defense would have intercept the ball twice. And starting with that defense and then going back to exactly what all the things I said, only thing I even got close to being right, like half right or even close to being right, was the Titans defense having 2 interceptions, because they did have 1 interception, so that's the only thing I even got close to right. When they would get a second interception, only got an interception they got was late in the second quarter to stop a Ravens drive, and it was a great interception by Byard. One of the Titans' standouts, defense, one of their best defense players, and also Henry. He was hugely contained. He didn't even get close to running for 101 yards or over 101 yards. Didn't even get close. He was hugely contained. He didn't run for 1 touchdown. He ran for 0 touchdowns. Mariota throwing for 2 touchdowns. He threw for 0 touchdowns, and this being wasn't a great, entertaining, dramatic. It wasn't a great, entertaining, dramatic, close, entertaining, exciting game at all. It was a no sweat, all too easy, boring. The Ravens win, no sweat at all, 21-0. Now, that can be entertaining if you're a Ravens fan, but I think most persons, they want to see a competitive, close game. They don't want to see a game where just one team steamrolls another team and it's uncompetitive, because that's just extremely boring, dull, undramatic, and uninteresting. And that's exactly why it wasn't those things that I predicted to be. It wasn't that game at all. It was an all too easy, undramatic. The Ravens steamrolled the Titans 21-0 in a game that wasn't close, because Ravens, they scored most of their points in the first half. They scored 14 points, and they scored 7 points in the second half. They didn't need that 3rd touchdown because the Titans weren't able to get in the end zone, but they still scored that 3rd touchdown in the second half. So most of their offense most of their points scored, and most of the points scored in this game and that the Ravens scored was in the first half. It didn't matter that the Titans were able to. Baltimore Ravens defense, they look like the 1985 Bears or the 2000 Ravens, the same 2000 Ravens that had an elite defense, which was one of the main reasons which was what carried them, and a main reason of why they won a Super Bowl with the unimpressive quarterback that is Trent Dilfer, because he wasn't the one carrying the team. It was mainly the defense, and that defense carried them. With them winning that elite defense carried them, and they won. The Ravens, with an elite defense carrying the team, won a Super Bowl, even with Trent Dilfer as a quarterback, because he wasn't the one carrying the team. Because Ravens sacked Mariota over 9 freaking damn times. I mean, I know an offensive line isn't going to always be able to prevent sacks, but freaking when you get when you have more than 8 sacks allowed, when you have like 6 sacks or higher allowed, there's a huge issue. If you have 5, if you're getting to 5 or higher, if you have 5 sacks allowed or higher, and it's a huge issue if you have double digits sacks allowed, because that's just not a dime a dozen common in football, including the NFL. But it was the Ravens' day, because Murphy's Law was going really, really, went 500 miles per hour for the Titans. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. It was pretty much everything that could go right for the Ravens did go right. I mean, they sacked Mariota more than 8 freaking damn times. They also converted most of their third downs, more than 13 of their third downs. So didn't matter that the Titans were able to get them into third downs because the Ravens were able to continue to convert on third downs. And when that happens, when that happens, defense isn't going to be effective, and it's going to be pretty damn hard to win a football game if the defense isn't able to contain the other team if the percentage of the other team converting on third downs is over 80, is more than half, is mostly close to 100%, which no doubt, if I looked at the numbers, that it would be close to 100% for the Ravens because they converted most of their third downs. No doubt over 78%. I wouldn't doubt at all, no doubt over 78%. So that's a pretty damn high That's a pretty freaking damn high percentage for converting on third downs. And also, Ravens were the ones, they were moving the football, and the Titans weren't able to stop them, obviously, enough times, and they were getting the ball in the end zone 2 times in the first half. And Titans, even when they're able to move the ball, it really didn't matter because if it wasn't self-destructive penalties, well, then the Ravens, that defense that had more than 7 sacks for this game, they were sacking Mariota, and not just there was, and then also either they were sacking Mariota or they're getting pressure on Mariota, but they were sacking him, but they were also getting pressure on him, and they were getting these Titans in like these second and third and longs, where it wouldn't be second and third and short. Instead, it would be second and long and third and long, and it's extremely hard when you're playing against a formidable defense, which the Ravens currently have. It's going to be damn hard to actually get first downs a high percentage if you're repeatedly getting into second and long and third and long. And Titans had their opportunities, and they did not capitalize. There was didn't matter that the Titans got that turnover, and then the Ravens just kept the Titans out of the end zone, and the Titans never got into the red zone. The only time they even and any time it looked like maybe the Titans were going to be able to get to some points, it didn't matter because I think if they got past like the 50, not far past, but still past the 50, past midfield, the Ravens were able to sack the Titans, or they get some type of false start or some other self-destructive penalty, which is something I would expect out of a bad or awful team, not a team that going into this game was 3-2. They look like the Cardinals or the Giants, both of which are currently only have one win, and currently are undeniably awful teams based off their record, and they definitely look like those teams because of how they played in this game, and in other ways worse because I don't think even with the Cardinals, even having only one win, I don't think I can recall them ever. I'd have to look it up, but I'm just guessing right now that they didn't ever have a loss this season where they didn't score any points at all. Not that I can think of. I mean, I could be wrong, but not that I can think of currently. But I could be wrong. This was just a freaking damn frustrating game to watch because Ravens steamrolled the Titans. They won from start to finish, and even when the Titans had opportunities, and they had that best opportunity because Mariota threw to Taylor, and it looked like it was in the area enough for Taylor to at least make the catch or attempt to make it a catch, but he didn't look around for the ball at all, so it just harmlessly fell to the ground. And not just that, but also not just falling to the ground, but there was also there was that fumble created, and I think it was deep in Ravens territory. But it didn't matter that the Titans were able to recover because obviously the Ravens runner was down. So a turnover they're able to create but not able to finish off because they didn't get that turnover created before the Ravens runner was down. And so that's extremely frustrating. It's also extremely frustrating that they were able to get the only turnover of the game, an interception when needed, and they weren't able to get any points out of that drive after that turnover. And oh yeah, because the Ravens were able to move the ball, and continue to convert on third down a high amount. Because they're able to convert a high amount, they were eating up clock, making the Titans defense frustrated and tired and highly ineffective. And also, so those issues along with, oh yeah, there was an also play, I think, where Flacco got sacked, or he got pretty close to being sacked, but then I think it was by Byard or one of the Titans' secondary defenders, but Flacco was able to avoid the sack and in desperation throw this pass, and it was to, I think, a Titans defense lineman, and no doubt he really wasn't expecting it. And Titans defense lineman, it just, I think, went off his chest or just went off his body and then dropped down to the ground. And so that was a big opportunity for a momentum-changing play because I think they were deep in like the Ravens' territory or weren't that far away from the. I mean, I know they weren't like 10 yards away from the end zone, but they weren't. They were still a manageable distance for that Titans defender if he had caught the ball to take it, run more than 15 yards and get in the end zone, and that was the opportunity for also another opportunity for a momentum-changing play, and something the Titans just didn't, they had and they weren't able to take advantage of. So no doubt that possibly this could be a completely different game if you have the Titans making plays on any one of those three plays at all. And Ravens defense, they were able to keep the Titans from scoring not just field goals but also touchdowns, and that was extremely frustrating that the Titans would get steamrolled by the Ravens. The Ravens would steamroll the Titans 21-0. I mean, I would have agreed if a person told me the Raven. I wouldn't have found it implausible if somebody told me that the Ravens are going to win this game. But if they would have told me that the Ravens are going to have more than 9 sacks, they're going to defeat the Titans by demolishing them or steamrolling them 21-0. And I would have said, no, that's a bunch of bullcrap. No damn way is that going to happen. It was a nightmare in Nashville. Exactly what happened. And in some ways, this is pretty much that damn frustrating game of the Gators when they steamrolled the Volunteers, which was in Knoxville. But in other ways, it's worse because the Volunteers, they were actually able to score points, and including, if I recall right, touchdowns. And the Titans in this game, they weren't able to score any damn points at all in a freaking coin flip game. Another embarrassment for a Ravens team. They didn't have any road wins, and not only do they get their first road win, it's a freaking excellent road win because they shut out the Titans 21-0. They outplay them from start to finish, and their defense steamrolls or terrorizes and dominates the Titans because they have more than 9 sacks on Mariota. Freaking excellent. I know you don't get style points in the NFL, but that's that's a excellent first road win for the Baltimore Ravens. I got extremely frustrated watching this game because it didn't matter that the Titans were moving the ball because sack, or stop, or self-destructive penalty, and stop by the Ravens, which was mostly the sack. And if it wasn't a sack, then it's an incomplete pass. But it was mostly the sack. It was sacks. It was incomplete passes, and I got really frustrated, pissed off, and furious that I continued to see the Ravens sacking Mariota or stopping the Titans, and then they get to celebrate. It was really frustrating to watch, and why I really expected that the Titans would rebound after that. After that, soul crushing, frustrating, close no, frustrating close loss to the Bills, 13-12. But I was hugely wrong. They went from they had a chance to win, they were leading late, to even worse, to an abysmal defeat in a game they never led at all. They didn't score any damn points. They were outplayed from start to finish in a game that wasn't close at all, and went from bad to worse, or went from bad to awful, or bad to worse. Because sack after sack after sack after sack, Ravens continue to move that ball, move that ball, move that ball, eat up clock, score another touchdown in the second half to make it 21-zip. I mean, the Titans have had awful defeats to the Ravens, but I don't recall in the entire time where they've used the name the Titans that they'd any time that they've used the name the Titans that they had the loss to the Ravens of where they were shut out, and the Ravens sacked a Titans quarterback more than 8 times, and that occurring in Nashville. Even in Baltimore, if I looked it up the series, I don't think I can recall that ever occurring. Not in Baltimore and not in Nashville. So this isn't just an awful defeat to the Ravens. It's one of their worst ever defeats to one of their most hated rivals, the Blackbirds, that is the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm still optimistic that the Titans can rebound from this abysmal loss, this shutout loss, one of their worst losses, not in this decade and no doubt of this season, and still still win the AFC South, still win more than 9 games, and still make the playoffs and still win the AFC South. I'm still optimistic and confident of that. And why am I so extremely happy that the Ravens steamrolled the Titans 21-zip for this regular season game? Because I don't doubt at all this was just a one-game wonder, and I really want the Titans to play the Ravens again in the playoffs this season, so they can prove that was a one-game wonder, and no doubt they show the hell up. They show up. They play for 60 minutes in the rematch in the playoffs. I wouldn't doubt that at all. And they don't just freaking move the ball. They continue to move the ball, get in the end zone. Not have these self-destructive penalties, not allowing more than 5 sacks versus the Ravens. And they're just not moving the ball. They're running at the Ravens. They're Ravens defenders. They're dodging Ravens defenders. And even if they're not dodging Ravens defenders, they're running into Ravens defenders. And it's taking a high amount of time it's challenging for the Ravens to bring down Henry, Lewis, Mariota, Davis, or whoever has the ball, and that Titans player, Davis, Henry, Lewis, whoever it is, they're not just making contact the Ravens, they're stiff-arming Ravens defenders, and they're also picking Ravens defenders up and slamming them into the ground within the legal limits of the NFL rules, but they're still slamming them into the damn ground. And the Ravens defense is just getting furious and angry and pissed off, and they're throwing the helmets on the sidelines. They're fighting with each other because they're not dominating, they're not embarrassing the Titans they were in that regular season game. And they ignited a freaking wildfire that they're not going to be able to contain, because they didn't just steamroll and embarrass the Titans 21-zip. They were celebrating, and Titans are going to be playing with that created a wildfire that the Ravens won't be able to contain. I don't doubt that at all. And Titans defense is hitting Flacco, Snead, and any other Ravens so damn hard that they're losing their helmets, they're losing the freaking football, and they're removing the football and creating turnovers, playing with so much damn better than they were in the 21-zip shutout loss to the Ravens. And they're also they have these opportunities to make great plays or game-changing plays. They take advantage of those. They don't have them and fail to execute. They execute those plays. So it could be deep pass, whether it's the deep pass, whether it's the long run, it's deep pass, long run, these drives where they're succeeding at moving the ball. They move the ball, they get in the end zone, and they don't miss. Well, they're going to miss tackles, but I don't imagine it'll be about the high amount like they did in this game. They finish when they have opportunities to tackle. They tackle. They're not having the high amount of missed tackles like they did in this game, and also wouldn't doubt at all they would be pretty damn similar to when the Titans played the Ravens in that 2003 game, which the Titans ended up winning. It was a great, exciting, dramatic, entertaining, close game that they won in Baltimore, and I wouldn't doubt at all that in a playoffs game it would resemble that. Maybe the score would be different, but I imagine I wouldn't doubt at all that it would be something. The score would highly possibly be different, but I wouldn't doubt at all that it would resemble that as far as being great, entertaining, exciting, dramatic, close game. If the Titans were to play the Ravens in a playoffs game in a rematch that I want to see. So, really, that is the glass is half full, and I really did. Titans were moving the ball in this game, so that's not just me looking for this Titans-Ravens rematch would be different. They were showing signs of life in this abysmal abomination, 21-0. They just weren't able to finish with like the whole moving the ball, and they sure as hell weren't able to protect Mariota enough for them to continue to move the ball and get in the end zone. Weren't able to finish those game plays that are more than likely game-changing, but I wouldn't doubt at all in a rematch. They're just not moving the ball. They're getting in the end zone. Wouldn't doubt at all that it is a completely different game when the Titans play the Ravens, no doubt in a rematch I want to see, and in a rematch they want, mainly in the playoffs. And I really hope that happens. That'd be excellent if it does happen, because Titans will get a chance to get redemption in the best way possible in the one game playoffs elimination season that is the NFL playoffs.